Hello and welcome. My name is Reinhard Partmann, and in this video we are going to talk about optimization of display protocols and related parameters. First of all, we want to deliver any application to any device. So we have a lot of different devices like mobile phones, tablets, laptops, thin clients, web browsers. We want to have the users to consume the application in an easy way, and it also should be very snappy, very efficient. They shouldn't wait too long, and they want to consume the desktop, their application or remote desktop sessions in a workable, good manner. That basically means that we need to take care about that the data stream is flowing fluently and they have a snappy reaction when they open applications or take any actions within their applications. User numbers are constantly growing usually, and more users are working on the go, which means they are working through the internet, and therefore we have to take care that the amount of data is as low as possible, but still a good quality. So let's talk about display protocol tuning and optimization. First of all, we have two display protocols. We have PCoIP and BLAST. First, we are going to talk about PCoIP. PCoIP is from the company TerraDigi in conjunction with VMware. It's a solid protocol. It's available for several years right now, and we can use it for LAN and WAN environments. We can use it in many different use cases. We have some options to optimize it. We have display and audio parameters where we can tweak some settings here and there. We can use it in our classic desktop pools. We can use it on our remote desktop session hosts. So it's actually a general purpose protocol what we can use. Before you can optimize your PCoIP settings, you need to download the Horizon Desktop Bundle. So for that, basically you go to the download side of VMware into the Horizon section and download the Horizon View Extra Bundle. It's a zip file, you unpack it and you upload the ADM files, the administrative templates for group policies, either to your workstation where you are managing your group policies or to your domain controller. From there you open up the Group Policy Management console and you can edit your required settings and set them to the required value. We have several parameters within PCoIP which can be monitored. We have, for example, some troubleshooting parameters. Why are those important? For example, you can measure the PCoIP round trip time really end to end. We have network values which we can monitor, and we have for audio, imaging, network and USB also statistics value which can be monitored. You can get to those values either with a programming language or through the VMI API. So, like I told you, all of your optimization settings will be available to you through group policy. So therefore, you just open the Group Policy Management console, and like in any other group policy editing undertaking, you go to the path, which is Computer Settings, Policies, Classic Administrative Templates, and then you will find there your PCoIP session values and client session variables. You just open up the appropriate folder and set the values to the value you require it to be. Let's start with the top 5 optimization settings. First, we are going to talk about the build to lossless feature. Build to lossless, this option is an option you should take care about. Why? It's a good optimization feature because it saves you a lot of bandwidth. But let's say in medical environments, you shouldn't turn build to lossless off. Reason being, in medical environments, you need the highest image quality you can get. You and I, we don't want to be operated on because of some compression or display artifact. So in medical environments, highest quality. All others, you turn build to lossless off, and it saves you quite a big amount of data which needs to be transmitted over the wire from the agent to the client. Here you see that we have different stages of an image. When you think back in the earlier days of the internet, where we had modems, no wireless, everything ran through a cable and the modem was beeping and blurring, and you saw an image and it was very unclear, it got a little bit clearer and then it was sharp at the end of the day. Well, it's like that also here. Much faster, but still, the image gets a higher quality over the time. But this also means that more data has to be transferred over the wire. At the end of the day, perceptually lossless means we only need, for example here, 1 to 3 bits per pixel and not 5 to 15 bits per pixel, which actually means less data over the wire, less bandwidth, and it's being faster transmitted and you have a snappier performance. As long as you don't have high resolution graphics and design graphics or medical applications, you can go with that and you have a really good optimization with one option. The second option we are going to talk about is the PCoIP quality image levels. At the end of the day, we are basically talking about at what level do we start and to what level of the image quality do we go, so that we have respect for our users in respect at least in a quality and a maximum quality. Again, this saves time and data which needs to be transferred from the agent to the client. The next option is basically the PCoIP session floor. This is the minimum bandwidth what is being used. So the minimum bandwidth, the default value is 0, so PCoIP takes what it can and does not take care. On the other hand, if we set a minimum bandwidth floor, it doesn't check if the bandwidth is really there. So what you could actually end up with is that you oversubscribe your network. So also take care if you use this value, don't oversubscribe your network, because otherwise there you will have a network congestion. The next option is the frame rate. The frame rate is also a very easy-going setting because it helps you a lot. The default value is 30. In many use cases, you don't need 30 frames per second. Let's assume you have mostly text-based applications, Word, Excel, the general productivity suite your users are working with. Well, in that case, maybe you can live with 12, 15, 18 frames per second. And again, less frames, less bandwidth, snappier experience. Let's go to the next option. This is the audio limit. So, within the PCoIP data stream, we have the audio stream. And depending on what bandwidth you have available to you, you can configure the audio limit within your data stream. Thing is, the more you turn the limit down, the less good will be the quality. So if you have more than 1600 kilobits per second for your audio stream, you will have high quality stereo. But when you go down, let's say bigger than 450, you have still stereo, but it's high quality compressed. And if you even go further down, the quality will go down and down and down. And if you have too less bandwidth, PCoIP will turn the sound off. So, depending on the settings, what you set, it has no effect on the USB audio, but still, these are settings, and all of those settings we have been talked about up to now, we need to test. Better to say, if you do any optimization, always do in-depth testing, so that your users will not be unsatisfied with the experience. The last option we have is the PCoIP transport header. The PCoIP transport header is an unencrypted header within the PCoIP protocol. It would help you to optimize network traffic, but not all network devices can read out these values and understand the PCoIP protocol. There are some, but some can't do that. So I would rather use quality of service on layer 2 or differentiated services code point on layer 3, because those are standards. And on top of that, those values can be very easily set on your distributed virtual switch in your virtual environment. And therefore, you are using standard values which more or less all of the network devices can take care of, and you have your quality of service in place. So let's switch over to the second display protocol, which is called BLAST. BLAST is the new kid on the block. We have good development there, a lot of features there, and we have broad support on client devices. At the end of the day, when we are talking about display protocol, at one end, it needs to be encoded, which is on the agent side, on the server side, where the virtual machine is running. Then the data is being sent down to the client, and it has to be decoded at the client side. With BLAST, we have one tremendous advantage. In BLAST, we can use H.264 MPEG-2 compression. And nearly all of our clients, may it be a mobile phone, tablet, laptops, have a hardware-supported decoder inside. And this helps us in two ways. First, we don't need to use our built-in CPU. And on mobile devices, this goes a long way with battery life. So you see, apart from the feature set, we also have a longer runtime with our devices. And as you can see on the slide here, we have nearly all client devices which we find on the market under support. We have a Windows client for BLAST Extreme. Of course, we also have a macOS support, and we have support for our mobile operating systems like iOS and Android. So we have feature parity with PCoIP and a broad client support with hardware acceleration and longer battery life. So it's a new protocol in Horizon 7. PCoIP is not going away because we have still use cases for that. So you can choose what protocol you want to take. We have support in 0 clients. We have the H.264 compression and decode support. And on the server side, if you have NVIDIA cards, you can offload the encoding of your BLAST stream to your NVIDIA cards. Still, we can have a fallback to JPEG, PNG codec compression support. We have also support on Linux. We support TCP and UDP protocols. TCP is the default. In some circumstances, we switch back to UDP. The only thing what we really need, and it's actually not a problem anymore, we need at least Horizon Client 4.x. BLAST optimizations, like I said, with NVIDIA grid cards, we can offload a lot of those features to our hardware. Encoding and stuff like that will be rendered and calculated by a much better hardware support instead of our CPU in the server, and therefore we have a snappier experience and less load on our servers, so we can scale with virtual machines a little bit better. BLAST is a highly intelligent protocol. We have still several parameters in our group policies there which we can tweak, and therefore you can also set your parameters through Group Policy Management Console. You also should take into consideration when you are using 3D cards. Like I said, you can offload the encoding, but also when you are using 3D cards and have designers, please do your calculations, do your math when they work. They tend to use a higher amount of bandwidth, and so that you size your internet connection properly.